Welcome to the heroine's journey for Aliens vs Predator Requiem. As with the first AVP film, this film did not feature Ellen Ripley, nor does it even feature a distinct heroine, so perhaps it's more an ensemble piece, more like Alien. Also, as with previous episodes, this is simply just one person's interpretation. For reference, I've decided to go with the extended version of AVP Requiem. I don't believe the Strauss brothers have ever stated that they prefer the extended version, but it does offer some extra character bits missing from the theatrical version that may aid our analysis. Unlike the crew of the Nostromo, the protagonists in AVPR all begin their journey at different points. The first one we meet is the Predator, dubbed Wolf. He receives a message from a Predator ship that has crashed on Earth, arms himself, then takes off in his spaceship. His call to adventure is immediate and he departs his ordinary world without even thinking about refusing. Shortly after, we meet Sheriff Eddie Morales and Dallas Howard. We later learn that Dallas has been in prison for the last 3 years for breaking and entering, and Eddie is an old friend who has become sheriff in the meantime. Eddie comes across as principled and loyal, offering to ask around town for work for Dallas. Dallas doesn't regret his crime, which may indicate that he had to do what he thought was morally right, but legally wrong. We next meet Ricky, Dallas's younger brother. We learn that Eddie hasn't seen too much of him, telling us that while there is potential for Ricky to get into trouble with the law, he's been keeping his nose clean. This is reinforced by him holding down a part-time job while going to school, but still rebelling against his boss at the pizza shop where he can. Our final protagonist is the only woman. Kelly O'Brien is returning home from a tour of duty in the armed forces, possibly overseas. While her husband is pleased to see her, her absence has led to some estrangement from her daughter Molly. She doesn't run to her mother when she arrives home, nor does she seem overly impressed with the night vision goggles that Kelly gives her. Dallas and Ricky are reunited when the latter returns home after having a fight with some bullies from his school and having his keys thrown into the sewer. Dallas tries to assert some authority over Ricky, stopping him going back with a baseball bat and making more trouble for himself. Ricky resists until Dallas says he'll help him find his keys. The group is made up of people returning home and those who have moved on without them. But they do not have a shared call to adventure. None of them are called to do anything of note, other than Eddie, who has 2 missing persons to find. As it's his duty to search for them, he's not in a position to refuse the call. It could be said that Eddie crosses the first threshold when he finds his deputy, Ray, slaughtered, his body skinned. Crossing the first threshold could also be the scene where Dallas and Ricky look for the car keys. They descend into the belly of the whale, where they encounter an alien chestburster and shed alien skin, though neither know what these things are yet. Wolf arrives and gains supernatural aid via a recording of a Predator-Alien hybrid, or Pred-Alien, that has apparently survived the crash, and learns that some of the facehuggers have escaped into the forest. He collects a blue liquid that he later uses to dissolve any evidence of the alien's presence. He then crosses a similar threshold to Dallas and Ricky, also descending into the belly of the whale, tracking the aliens to their hive. This is also the beginning of the Predator's road of trials, as he attempts to trap and exterminate the aliens, but fails and they escape into the city above. It's now becoming increasingly apparent that this is not one hero's journey, but many. Ricky meets with Jessie, whom he would regard as a goddess, and she does tempt him, but he's not on any journey, so he has no compunctions about giving in. He has to be dragged away from temptation when Jessie's former boyfriend shows up with 2 friends and start beating Ricky up. The Predator, meanwhile, continues his road of trials, destroying Gunnison's nuclear power plant in an attempt to shoot an alien. This might be viewed as a form of rescue from without. The power shuts down, interrupting Dale's beating of Ricky. Then when an alien attacks and kills Dale's cronies, Ricky, Jessie and Dale become reluctant allies in the face of a greater threat. At this point, had Ricky fully given in to the Temptress and not been forced away by Dale, it's very likely his story would have ended when the alien attacked. They meet Dallas and Eddie at the burning power plant, and now it might seem they finally have a quest, if only a vague one: survive a situation that is rapidly spiralling out of control. Ricky running straight to Dallas may be the atonement with the father step, had the brothers not already been reconciled earlier in the scene where they find the keys. Instead, this is the road of trials for Dallas, Ricky and Eddie. Dallas meeting with the goddess could come in the form of someone on her own journey, Kelly. The gifts she imparts become clear later after her own Apotheosis step, when she realises the army's plan for the entire population of Gunnison to be airlifted to safety in order to escape the alien threat is just a ruse. If we view Kelly as the goddess, then her gifts are her ability to shoot a gun, drive an army transport, and fly the helicopter to take them to safety. However, she cannot be the Temptress, as she does not lure Dallas away from the path. In his eyes, her way is the only way out. She may be regarded as a temptress for Eddie, however, as he resists her plan and decides to trust in the airlift plan, and the group go their separate ways. She can also be regarded as the ultimate boon, what they all need in order to survive, in order to return to the ordinary world. Eddie unwittingly refuses the return, while the final survivors, Dallas, Ricky, Kelly and Molly, take the magic flight. The rescue from without comes in the form of both Dallas using one of the Predator's powerful energy weapons to fight the aliens, and when he is caught cold by one of the creatures, only to have Wolf explode through the floor, stopping it in its tracks and allowing Dallas to escape. Kelly flies the helicopter, crossing the return threshold seconds before a nuclear bomb wipes out the town. However, after they get away, they're rounded up by the military, and it would seem that they are masters of nothing, and their freedom to live is in doubt. Similarly, Wolf's own journey stalls in a permanent road of trials. In his final seconds, he does go through a transformation of sorts, realising that he has failed to contain the alien threat, and decides to go out in style, fighting the Pred alien hand-to-hand, one-on-one. However, he too is killed in the bomb blast as the combatants deliver fatal blows to each other, and his final transformation is to vapour. So in the wash-up, there is no single hero's journey in AVP Requiem, nor is there a shared one. Some characters travel some steps on a journey, but they are ultimately people who managed to survive, rather than the heroes who changed in order to effect their own fate.